Hi, and welcome to Creative Chelsea. For today's card, we're going to be using this beautiful Mosaic Mood Specialty Designer Series paper. And one of the things that I love about this paper is that it is embossed. So one side of every piece is embossed, the other side is not. You can see that this is just the regular paper side, and this is the embossed side. See that shine? It's so beautiful, and it has a little bit of a texture. So you can see this is the regular and the embossed. We'll just go through it really quick. Here's this beautiful leaf, and then this side is the embossed side. And you can see that those roses and butterflies are embossed. This leaf is the embossed side, and then this is the paper side. And then this is the paper side, and this cute little circle design is the embossed side. Let's see if I have any others I haven't gone through. Oh, this one's really similar to the other one, but this is the embossed side. And then we've got a little circle pattern that is the paper side. And then this hummingbird side is the embossed. It's so beautiful. And then this cool mosaic pattern is the paper side. Okay, so I think I've gone through all the paper. There are 12 sheets, and each sheet, there's 2 of each design with a double-sided design. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to fussy cut some of these roses, and then, oh, we're not going to fussy cut that. That was for another card. So we're going to fussy cut some roses, and then a butterfly, and you can choose which butterfly you like. And then there's these tiny cute little bees that are also embossed. We're going to fussy cut one of those. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Find my paper snips, and we'll just speed this up so you don't have to watch me in slow motion. Okay, so I've got my 2 flowers, and I've got a little pair of leaves, and I've got my butterfly and my bumblebee. I think I might need another leaf. So let's look at the paper and see if there are some leaves I can cut. Maybe these ones here in this corner, because this rose is not going to be really usable, so I'm going to cut out these 2 leaves. So now we've got some leaves for each flower, a butterfly, and a bumblebee. So let's grab our cardstock. We are going to use this beautiful sheet of the DSP, and we've got a garden green cardstock for our card base, and then we are using Very Vanilla, and the size of this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and then a piece of soft suede, which is 3 by 3 1/2. And then we need a scrap piece of Very Vanilla that we're going to stamp the sentiment on. And we'll be using a sentiment from the Stitched All Around stamp set. And we're going to use this Enjoy Your Special Day. So let's stamp that in soft suede. And you'll want to give it enough room around it, because we're going to cut it out with the Stitched Labels framelit dies. So here's the die we're going to be using, and it's just going to go right over the sentiment, and I'm going to use a big shot to cut this out. Okay, so we have now cut that out with the big shot. If you don't know how to use any of the Stampin' Up! Products with a big shot or similar die machine, look for my How to Use a Big Shot video. Alright, so let's assemble our card. So we've got our card base in garden green, and we're going to place our DSP on top. So just use some adhesive. I love how shiny that is. It's so beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to add some very vanilla, and this is just going to help our flowers pop out. And that's going to go at an angle. And then we'll do some soft suede. And this is to help our sentiment pop out. So we'll put that at a different angle. And now we're going to add our elements. So one of the things I love about DSP, especially from Stampin' Up!, is that they do have these beautiful images, and it just makes card making so easy. You just have to cut them out and layer them on. So let's put this on with, we're going to use some dimensionals, and we're going to use snail. So right here where it meets the middle of our card, we're going to adhere some snail so it stays flat. But then up here at the top, I'm going to add some dimensions. I wanted some dimensions on the card, so we're going to add some dimensionals there. So just use a little bit of both. And then that just goes kind of right there in that upper corner. And let's put these leaves on this side. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, because our sentiment will probably help us cover up that portion of the leaves. So these I'm just going to put right down with some snail. Okay. And then the same with this rose. We're going to put it down here in this corner, and we're going to do snail here and dimensions at the top. Make sure I've got the right place for my dimensionals. So in that corner, lay that down, and then let's add this large leaf. If I can kind of squeeze that underneath on this side. Right there. Okay. There we go. Maybe this small one we can put over here on our big one, just to, we don't really need it for this small one. All right, then don't lose your little bee. We're going to add our sentiment. We'll just put it right there. Before we do that, we're going to add a little bit of some white baker's twine. But I don't want it to be white, I want it to be this yellow color. And there are two ways that you can dye your baker's twine. So let me show you both ways. One of the ways is to use a Stampin' Blends marker. And you're just going to take the large end, let me grab a scrap piece of paper. So I'll do half of this way. So the large end, you're going to grab it put the marker on it, and then just pull the string on the marker. Okay, and then if you'd like, you can try to flip it and try to get the other side. I think the marker does a pretty good job of getting the whole, both sides, because it kind of saturates it, but sometimes you can see a little bit of white still kind of popping through. Okay, so that's one way. The other way is to use an ink pad with some sort of sponge or the finger dauber. What is that called? A dauber? Can't remember for some reason. Okay, so the way you do this is you put your twine on the ink pad and you have your dauber, and if it's clean and you don't have any ink on it, then you'll want to daub the ink into this sponge, and then you just pull it. And this one takes a little bit more time to get the color because you're kind of doing it just on one side. So you can go all the way down on one side and then roll it and try to go all the way down on the other side. Roll it. Okay, so those are the two ways that you can color your baker's twine. I do like to sometimes take a tissue and just run it through. It just kind of pulls off any extra ink that might be on there so it doesn't get on my project. Okay, so we're just going to add this to the back of our greeting. And I like to do this with some snail. And we're just going to place the end on one side and then just wrap. Kind of go back and forth. So I have about 24 inches of twine here, and that should be enough to give myself a cute little element behind here. It just needs to, I think mine might be a little bit shorter than 24 because it was at the end of my, there we go. All right, so then you can see that the yellow is kind of pulling off. Then I'm going to add some dimensionals onto the back, and this is just going to keep my twine where I want it. So let's put that on our card. Hopefully I'm not getting yellow on my front with my fingers. Okay, so I'll just position this. So even though everything else is crooked or at an angle, I do want this to be more straight on. Maybe I didn't. Okay. So then let's add our butterfly. We're going to put this down here. So we're going to put snail on this side and a couple dimensionals on that side. And I'm just going to use the regular ones since they're here. And I'm just going to snip them. And then put them in the wings. And add some snail. And then I want to put my little bee, who's still here and I haven't lost yet, with the glue dot. I think he's so cute. my snips if they're a little bit too tiny. So pick him up and just put him right over here. So then if you want, you can fluff up his wings a little bit. Okay. All right, so the very last thing I want to do, just to kind of help this sentiment stand out, is to add a little bit of Wink of Stella. This is a really fun product, and it just adds a little bit of glimmer to your projects. So I'm just going to go around the edges, just kind of quickly add some of that shine. And then I will go over my stamped sentiment, but sometimes it will pull some of that color up. So you just want to be really careful. You can see, just be careful, kind of try not to go over it too much. Just stay where that is, where there's no stamp. You can kind of come in between. Okay, and that just really helps it pop with that beautiful DSP. I hope you enjoyed making this card with me today. If you did, please subscribe, like, and share. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Have a creative day. Bye!